What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. So, I've been racking my brain for the longest time trying to figure out how Konami comes up with some of the cards that they place on the Forbidden and Limited list. Because it seems like every single time we get a ban list, and since we have one coming up, it just made me think that, there's always a card or two that just seems so out of place either on the Forbidden list, on the Limited list, or something that they just unlimit for no reason whatsoever, and it just seems not logical. But that's the thing. We're thinking logically trying to figure this out when they don't function in that manner. So today I present to you Banlist Roulette, where we're going to take some cards that should be on the August 2018 Forbidden Limited list and figure out, by not using logic and using sheer chance, figure out where these cards are going to end up on the Forbidden list. But before we get into that, I want to give a huge shout out to my newest patrons as always. So big shout outs today to Beezer as well as Christian. You guys are the reason that this channel is growing strong. And if you guys want to help support me in the channel through Patreon, then check out the Patreon link in the description below. But without further ado, let's play some Banlist Roulette. So what cards can we start off with? Well, I think probably the most notorious offender and the card that there's just a massive outcry for to see some placement on the next ban list is Firewall Dragon. Firewall Dragon is just pretty much the epitome of what everyone hates about Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's just completely degenerate, it enables such degenerate strategies, and honestly a lot of people are just really fucking sick of it. But it's kind of in a really weird position because since it happens to be the main protagonist's ace boss monster from the current anime, it's kind of weird because is Konami gonna go against the fact, that would be like if they were gonna ban Dark Magician for Yugi or Blue Eyes White Dragon for Kaiba. Now, obviously, Firewall isn't on the level of Dark Magician or Blue Eyes White Dragon, but it's kind of one of those things where, if you ban the boss monster of the anime, that kind of, disenchants a lot of the younger viewers or the people who are really obsessed with the anime, that the best card that the protagonist uses isn't really a thing anymore. But we're not going to decide by logic, we're going to decide by chance, so let's see what Firewall Dragon's fate has in store. Well, looks like Firewall Dragon's getting banned after all. I guess this wheel is good for something. Another card that a lot of people have been talking about banning is Divine Sword Phoenix Blade, and this one's a little bit weird to me because, yeah, you kind of recur the advantage from being able to just discard for the fodder off the nightmares, but realistically, is Divine Sword the problem? I don't think so, but a lot of people want this card banned, and I can kind of see why, but I thought I'd throw it in this video since it was something that a lot of people were bringing up. So, without further ado, Phoenix Blade, where you at? Alright, so Phoenix Blade is gonna go to 2. Seems pretty useless to me, but it sounds like something Konami would do. The next card I want to talk about is TRICKSTAR Reincarnation. TRICKSTAR Reincarnation has just had so much hype circulated around it, especially in tandem with Droll and Lockbird, to pretty much just flat out end games, especially in the initial stages, by being able to banish your entire opponent's hand. Now, this is something where, people could argue Droll and Lockbird should be hit, or TRICKSTAR Reincarnation should be hit, and since TRICKSTAR Sky Striker and TRICKSTARs are kind of like one of the best decks, I guess hitting TRICKSTAR kind of makes sense from that standpoint, but again, what makes sense to us may not make sense to them, so let's see where TRICKSTAR Reincarnation ends up. So TRICKSTAR Reincarnation is going to be at 2 for the next format. Well, that doesn't really do anything, but I guess it's one less TRICKSTAR Reincarnation you're gonna have to worry about. The next card I wanted to talk about is Scapegoat. I think Scapegoat's probably the number 2 card in terms of being right after Firewall that people want to see hit. Scapegoat is just one of those cards that is pretty much a victim of the Link summoning mechanic in general, just because it generates 4 tokens which can then be used as Link materials, and honestly, if Scapegoat resolves, it kind of can just end the game on its own, and it's really, really powerful. Now, some people might argue that having Scapegoat in the game is kind of a good thing because it helps bolster some of these other decks and actually allows them to be able to compete, like TRICKSTAR, like Invoked, like some more rogue strategies as well, just because you have access to your Link toolbox in one simple card. But a lot of people think it's just kind of like an auto-win card in a lot of circumstances, which I kind of agree with. It's currently, you know, hit in Japan, so I think it would make sense if Scapegoat got treated somewhat fairly here in the TCG as well. But let's see where Scapegoat ends up. Wow, Scapegoat's gonna get banned on this next list. I didn't expect that, but you know what? This is the Banlist Roulette. You never know what's gonna happen. Another really popular deck at the moment is Sky Striker, and it's not just because Sky Striker is one of the strongest decks, but because you have cards like Sky Striker Engage, and you also have Hornet Drones, which are basically playable in not just pure Sky Striker, but also in TRICKSTAR Sky Striker, or, you know, Goki even though a lot of the Goki players have kind of moved on from that. The cards are so generic and powerful that you can play them in a lot of different decks, and one of these cards, Hornet Drones, has been hit in Japan on the limited list to 1, so let's see what the fate of Engage and Hornet Drones is for our format. Alrighty, so they are going to ban Sky Striker Engage and ban Sky Striker Hornet Bait. Maybe I should have put the two together, but, you know, I think that's a pretty aggressive hit, and I don't think that's actually going to happen in the slightest, because they, you know, they kind of still want to make their money off the product since it's relatively new. Let's go ahead and say that Sky Striker Engage gets banned, but let's see what happens to Hornet Drones. Alrighty, looks like Hornet Drones is getting semi-limited. So, Engage banned, Hornet Drones to 2. Again, don't think that's ever gonna happen, but it kind of sounds like something they would do. Another card a lot of people talk about is Terraforming. Now, Terraforming is hit in the OCG. I believe it's at 1, but Terraforming is one of those cards that, because field spells have become so much more prominent in the game, the effects of these field spells has just become absolutely outrageous, and because there's really no drawback, it kind of just adds like a 4th, 5th, and 6th copy of any archetype-specific field spell. A lot of people have been pretty much crying out for Terraforming to be hit on the list in some form or another for quite some time now. Now, I'm personally a fan of Terraforming being at 3 because I kind of just like the fact that you have this added consistency for decks that play field spells, but at the same time, it is, you know, a little bit over the top in some cases, so let's see where Terraforming is going to end up on this next list. Alright, so Terraforming is getting banned. RIP field spell decks. Another card that a lot of people have really just had a lot of gripes about ever since its initial printing is Soul Charge. And this is for good reason, because typically when someone resolves a Soul Charge, they're probably going to win that game, and that kind of holds true even for today with a deck like Goki. Goki plays Soul Charge as an extender, so even if you can stop their plays, they can just spam everything back, and honestly, even though they can't attack, as long as they extra link you, that's really all they care about. Soul Charge is just one of those cards that it really can just swing a game back around in one player's favor, but almost to the point where it's unfair, just because you're using all your life points as a resource, and because the game has evolved to a point where you can literally just extra link your opponent, and that's technically considered like an auto win. Soul Charge is a card that a lot of people say should be banned as a result of that. But it's not up to us. Let's see what the wheel has in store. And it's gonna stay limited. You know what? I'm kind of okay with that. I would rather have it banned, but I could see it staying limited. It's probably gonna be there for a while. Now, to wrap this video up, I thought it'd be fun to take some of the banned cards and talk about reintegrating them into the game. And I know a couple cards in particular that a lot of people would like to see back, the first of which being Max C. A lot of people have been crying out for Max C to return into the game, especially because Goki has just had such a dominating presence in the current format. Now, again, it doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on, it's one of those things, but Max C, could it come back? Let's find out. And they're gonna put Max C to 3. The next card is That Grass Looks Greener. A lot of people actually really liked 60 card decks because it kind of added a really interesting and unique dynamic into the game, especially from a deck building standpoint. Now, a lot of people really hate this deck because, or any variant of this deck, because if they resolve grass, pretty much 99% of the time it's game over, but it's a card that, especially, you know, if you played the decks, a lot of people really liked what it did for the game. But let's see where grass is going to be on this next list. And they're gonna put it to 2. That would be absolutely horrific. Another random card is EVILSWARM EXCITON Knight. Do you guys remember that they reprinted this back in Battles of Legends Light's Revenge last year before Nationals, and everyone was hyping and speculating that it was gonna come off the ban list? Well, guess what? It's still banned 1 year later, so that kind of poses the question, why the hell they reprinted it in the first place? But again, we're not going to use logic, we're going to leave it to chance. And EXCITON Knight is going to be semi-limited for our next format. Would that really matter? Probably not, but it would give some rank 4 decks just another tool they could have at their disposal. And what kind of video would it be if I didn't end on Elemental Hero Stratos? Stratos is pretty much the ultimate card that everyone wants to see back. Whether you're a hero player or not, it's pretty much just the running joke of Banlist videos. And I figured if we're playing Banlist Roulette, we have to give Stratos his fair chance to return. Will he come back? Let's find out. Do it for the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I know I had a lot of fun. I'll bring you guys my real banlist prediction within the next week or so, but I thought today we would just do something silly and have a lot of fun. So if you want to see more Banlist Roulette in the future, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. But guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like the video as always. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. And if you found this video entertaining, consider backing me on Patreon, because just by pledging only $1 a month, you're investing in my ability to continue bringing you amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. So thanks so much again, and we'll see you next time.